It's one of the most intense opening scenes in modern cinema. A 9-year-old boy in the Bronx, 1960. He witnesses a brutal daylight mob murder. He sees the killer face to face. And a moment later, he lies to the police, saving the neighborhood boss. What if I told you that wasn't just storytelling? That the 9-year-old boy was real, that the murder was real, and that the boy who saw it all didn't just inspire the movie. He wrote it, and he grew up to play the very mob boss he protected. This isn't just another mob movie based on a true story, like Goodfellas or Casino. This story is more personal. This is the real lived autobiography of Chazz Palminteri, and the true story of how it got made is almost as incredible as the film itself. The entire film hangs on one central conflict: the war for a boy's soul. Calogero, or C, is torn between two father figures. First, there is his real father, Lorenzo. Played by Robert De Niro, Lorenzo is the working-class hero. He drives a bus, preaches that a working man is the tough guy, and famously warns his son, "The saddest thing in life is wasted talent." And this was 100% real. Chazz Palminteri's actual father was named Lorenzo, and he was, in fact, a bus driver in the Bronx. He was the moral compass of Chazz's life. Everything Lorenzo says in the film are things Chazz's real father told him. But then, there was the other father. The one with the money, the power, and the fear. Sonny, the neighborhood boss who controls Belmont Avenue. In the film, he's a charismatic, complex killer who teaches C a different kind of lesson. Is it better to be loved or feared? That's the question. He's the devil on C's shoulder, offering an easy life. So who was the real Sonny? Was he real at all? This is where fact and fiction begin to blur. Chazz Palminteri has been very clear. Sonny is not one specific person. He is a composite, a perfect blend of 3 or 4 different wise guys he knew growing up. He was the local bookie, the neighborhood tough guy, the shot caller. Palminteri took their personalities, their philosophies, their violence, and combined them into one legendary character. Sonny is the embodiment of the life Chazz saw, but was warned against. But the most pivotal scene in the film, the one that connects C to Sonny, is the one that started it all in real life: the murder. In 1960, a 9-year-old Calogero Chazz Palminteri was sitting on his stoop in the Bronx. He heard shouting. A man was beaten and then shot right in front of him. Just like in the film, the police came. They put all the kids in a lineup. They asked Chazz, "Did you see who did it?" And just like in the film, the 9-year-old Chazz Palminteri lied to protect the killer. He said, "I saw nothing." This single act of neighborhood loyalty, of omerta, earned him a reputation. The local wise guys, the men who would become Sonny, took notice. They started calling him Chazz. They gave him respect. He had followed the unwritten code of the Bronx. That one moment opened a door to a world his father, Lorenzo, desperately wanted to keep locked. So how did this incredibly personal story become a classic film? It almost didn't. By the late 1980s, Chazz Palminteri was a struggling actor in Los Angeles. He was running out of money. He'd been fired from his job as a bouncer. He decided to write what he knew. He wrote A Bronx Tale as a one-man play. He played every single character himself. The young C, his father Lorenzo, the neighborhood friends, and of course, Sonny. The show was a sensation in LA and then off-Broadway. Suddenly, Hollywood was knocking, hard. This was the era of Goodfellas. Mob stories were hot. Every major studio wanted the rights. Palminteri, who had only $200 in the bank, started getting massive offers. The offers climbed to $250,000, then $500,000, and finally, one studio offered him $1 million. But there was one catch. They didn't want him. They wanted a huge movie star, like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro, to play Sonny. Palminteri refused. He turned down $1 million. He told the studio, "This is my life. I will play Sonny, and I will write the screenplay, or you can't have the story." He believed in his father's words. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. He wasn't going to waste his shot. His agent told him he was insane. He was broke, but he held his ground. And then, one night, another man came to see the play, Robert De Niro. De Niro saw the show and was blown away. He went to Palminteri backstage and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. De Niro said, "This is one of the greatest stories I've ever seen." De Niro told him, "You should play Sonny, and you should write the screenplay. I will play your father, Lorenzo, and I will make my directorial debut. It was an offer built on respect. De Niro understood that the story needed Palminteri's authenticity. The deal was done, on a handshake. So when Chazz Palminteri wrote the screenplay, what did he keep and what did he change? We know the central event, the murder, was real. We know his father, Lorenzo, was real. We know Sonny was a composite. What about the rest? The neighborhood kids? They were real. Palminteri based C's friends on the guys he grew up with. The hierarchies, the nicknames, the casual racism. That was all part of the neighborhood's DNA in the 1960s. But what about Jane? The African-American girl C falls in love with? This is the biggest fictional element of the entire film. Jane is not a real person from Palminteri's life, so why add her? Palminteri added this subplot to explore the deep-seated racial tensions of the 1960s Bronx. It was the perfect way to raise the stakes for C and force him to choose between his father's morality, Sonny's street pragmatism, and his own heart. It makes the story bigger than just a mob tale. It makes it a story about America and the famous door test. The lesson from Sonny about whether a girl is selfish. Palminteri swears this is 100% real mob wisdom. It was a piece of advice he received from one of the wise guys who inspired Sonny. It's a perfect, chilling example of the street smarts C was learning. The movie was a critical success. It launched Chazz Palminteri into stardom, and it introduced the world to Lillo Brancato Jr., the unknown actor handpicked to play the young Calogero. He was discovered on a beach, purely because he looked like a young Robert De Niro. He was given the role of a lifetime. He had talent, and this is where the story becomes a tragedy. The film's central theme, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent, would come to define the actor who played the part. After the film, Lillo Brancato's life spiraled out of control. He became involved in petty crime. He developed a severe drug addiction. In 2005, Brancato and a friend, a known gang member, attempted a burglary in the Bronx to steal prescription drugs. They were confronted by an off-duty police officer, Daniel Enshautegui. Gunfire erupted. The officer was shot and killed. Lillo Brancato Jr., the man who played C, was convicted of attempted burglary and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Chazz Palminteri was outspoken, disgusted by what had happened. He said Brancato had wasted his talent and thrown his life away. It's a devastating, perfect, and terrible irony. In the movie, Calogero is saved. He listens to his two fathers, learns from their lessons, and ultimately chooses the right path. The path of the working man Lorenzo. He escapes the street, but in real life, the actor who played him didn't. Lillo Brancato Jr. became the man who failed the test. He wasted the talent. He couldn't escape the allure of the very life the film warned him against. A Bronx Tale isn't just a movie. It's an autobiography, a lesson, and a chilling prophecy. What do you think is the film's most powerful lesson? Let me know in the comments.